The lens we live through. How perception shapes reality. This is a message for the spiritually curious, those on a mission of self-discovery. The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeking new landscapes, but in having new eyes. Have you ever considered the origins of your beliefs, the source of your concepts of the world and of yourself? In what way do you see and define the world, yourself, and even the supernatural? Not just with your eyes, but with your mind. Every thought, every judgment, every emotion that colours your world. Where did it come from? What shaped the lens you see truth through? From the moment you were born, your senses, your experiences, and your interpretations began shaping who you are today. And from those fragments, your mind began to build a story about reality, a story about yourself, a framework about truth, about humanity, about God, about love, about right and wrong, a belief about what is important, beautiful, and possible. But you may be surprised to realize you are not the sole author of the story you're living in. The characters, the plot, the climax, and the ending, many of them were written long before you arrived, shaped by the invisible hand of cultural influence. We do not see things as they are, we see them as we are. You don't just inherit beliefs, you inherit a way of seeing. From the moment you enter the world, meaning is already waiting for you. A pre-written script of what things are and how they're supposed to feel. When you look back, you can start to see how much of who you think you are came from other people. Authority figures, parents, relatives, teachers, leaders, all played a part in shaping your sense of self. Then, there were the larger systems, religion, government, education, each creating cultures that handed you invisible templates for interpreting yourself and the world around you. They taught you how to act, how to speak, how to dress, and even how to think. They gave you prototypes, the ideal man, the ideal believer, the ideal citizen, and told you that if you wanted to belong, to have value, to be accepted, you had to become them. They claimed to give you truth, but what they really gave you were categories of meaning, predefined boxes to fit your life into. They didn't hand you self-discovery, they handed you conformity. They offered a version of freedom that only works if you stay within the lines. So you walk the path they drew for you. One less about becoming yourself, and more about fitting in to solidify the norms of your culture. A path designed not to awaken you, but to shape your perception before you ever had the chance to question it. You learned what's right and wrong, sacred and profane, worthy and unworthy, not from your own direct experience, but from the frameworks you were born into. The voices of your time handed you what to believe, what to say, what to do, and who to be. And without realizing it, you began to see life through those borrowed definitions, as if you were looking through a lens that someone else placed over your eyes. Everything you perceive passes through a filter, your upbringing, your memories, your traumas, your desires. These invisible patterns don't just shape how you think. They determine what you can think, what you can see, what you can hear, and how deeply you can understand both the world and yourself. The eye sees only what the mind is prepared to comprehend. So how do you change the lens you live through? It begins with awareness. When you catch yourself reacting, pause. Ask yourself, what am I believing right now? What story am I telling myself about this moment? Is it truly mine, or something I was taught to believe long ago? That question alone begins to dissolve illusion, because awareness loosens the grip of unconscious perception. The more you observe, the more the world reveals itself anew. Colours deepen, Moments slow, judgments soften. You begin to realize your mind was never meant to be a cage for beliefs. It was meant to be a window, open, clear, ever-changing. To evolve, then, is to become a new kind of seer. One whose vision is no longer clouded by conditioning, but illuminated by consciousness. Maybe this is what awakening truly means. Not reaching for heaven, but learning to see earth. And yourself, as they actually are. When perception becomes conscious, belief becomes choice. And in that moment of awareness, you are free. Perception is not reality, it is the filter through which reality passes. We do not find truth by escaping the world, but by seeing it clearly, as it is. Because the clearer your perception becomes, the more you realize nothing was ever hidden from you. You are seeing through borrowed eyes. To awaken is not to arrive somewhere new. It's to open your eyes to the reality that has been here all along. The truth was never far away. It was waiting, quietly, in the space between your thoughts, in the awareness that's been watching all along. And when you see from that awareness, you finally understand. You were never separate from truth. You were never apart from God. You were only learning how to see.